Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Please confirm you can hear me by either raising a hand or dropping a chat. I can see some hands raised. Can you hear me and can you see me? All right. Good morning. So, yes, thank you. I can see the chat. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. And loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you for that. We decided to just give in some 3-4 minutes to allow other attendees join us. Thank you, Macaulay Abiola. I can see that you can hear and see me. All right, so 10:04 it is. By 10:05, immediately, I will start speaking. In the interim, in case you can see your screen, you're not following us on social media, you can use the below FundQuest NGR, and on LinkedIn, we have FundQuest NG. You can please follow us right away, and we'll start now. So this is 10:05, so officially good morning and welcome to this great session. It's an honor, it's a privilege to be right here before you, and I'm particularly excited because of the caliber of people we have as a lineup to speak with you this morning, and even more importantly, the impact that you will be leaving here with. Let me also advise you, please get your pen and paper because you're going to be doing some writing this morning. Just before we introduce our speakers, I want to just take us through the webinar minutes and expectations. So first things first, I'm trying to change my screen. So first thing is, all right, give me a moment to in my screen. Thank you. All right, so the first thing here is the webinar housekeeping rules. So first of all, note that this webinar is being recorded and all participants are automatically muted, right, by the webinar administrators. This is so that there are no distractions. And also note that there will be polls in the course of the webinar. The polls are anonymous, right? So we don't know who's answering and what answers they are giving, but please be rest assured that your participation in the polls will be very much appreciated. Feel free to also use the Q&A features to send in your questions, right? So whenever there are questions, that's why we have a Q&A session. And we will answer all your questions at the end of, towards the end of the webinar. So I want us to stay put, drop as many questions, that's why we're here for you. And also use the chat box to drop comments, just to keep the conversations going. Lastly, a recording of this webinar will be sent to the mail of all participants. So do well to check out your mail after this webinar. We'll drop something for you. All right, so the last point here is who are the people organizing this great session? Our name is FundQuest Financial Services Limited. And yes, we would like to say that we give your dreams the breath of life. How? We offer you some of the best rates in the industry and across the country when it comes to investments, loans, lease, and even business advisory. It will be great for you to take note of the number on your screen right now, because when it comes to all of the services mentioned, we are the people that you should be speaking with. All right, so I'm just going to head straight now to introduce my first speaker. All right, so my first speaker here is Madam Bola Oduyale. Hi, Madam Bola, how are you doing?
Yes. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, I can. I'm sure we all can. So, Madam Bola Oduyale is the founder and chief executive officer of CreditWise Financial Services Limited, a company that is committed to supporting the eradication of poverty and accelerating gender equality, enabling financial access for women and everyone at the bottom of the pyramid. She has been in the financial services sector successfully for over 25 years. And she has attended several courses and has done several businesses, both in and outside Nigeria. She's married with 3 boys, and she's here today to help us explore financial opportunities for women and even for men. So, Madam Bola, good to have you here. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, FundQuest specifically. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to the audience today. So first of all, let me try and share my slide so that I can, okay, so share. Okay. Can everyone see my slides? Can I see a show of hands? Yes, no, in the chat box. If you can see my slides, let me know. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, yes, you can. Thank you. Okay, so, I mean, you can see the picture of the woman. She looks really regal, looks independent, looks confident. And so that's an aspirational picture that you're looking at it. That is where we all want to be. That is how we all want to stand tall. That's how we all want to stand tall as women in the society, married, single, widowed, divorced, it doesn't matter, whatever designation it is, but that is how we want to be and stand. First of all, let me know, I just want to feel the temperature in the room, you know, where are we? Who are the people? Who are the people in the audience? Who am I talking to? Where are you calling? Where are you, listening from? How are you participating? Are you a man? Are you a woman? Are you from London, Lagos, Canada? And I would also like you to fill the poll. Student, working class, businesswoman. There's a poll on the screen right now, business owner. Please, so kindly fill the poll so that we can really have an idea who you are. Let's know who we're talking to today. The poll is open. So John, how many seconds do we have for this poll to close so that we can continue?
All right, so we can close it right away, actually, and share the results. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Working woman, business owner. That's it. So we can all see so actually whatever we're talking about today concerns every one of you, working, you're an employee, you're an employer of labor, you're an entrepreneur, you may even be a homeowner, homemaker, which is what we call housewife in Nigeria. Either way, this will, okay. So I'll start with this quote. A woman's best protection is a little money of her own. That's your best protection as a woman, a little money of your own, somewhere that you can say is yours. So I want to, if we take nothing away today, that is something to take away, something that money that you can call your own. Okay. Now, financial independence, that's what we're talking about today. How do you know you're financially independent? Let us start this journey together as a financially independent woman. Ask yourself these 3 questions. And if the answer is yes to all 3, then you are absolutely financially independent. But if even one of these questions is a no, then we still have something to work on. Your question, do you have control of your own finances? Do you make your own decisions regarding your money? Do you control your money rather than your money is controlling you? Or somebody else is controlling that money for you, your husband, your spouse, your partner, your father, your mother, your parents, your sister, your brother? Is it a yes? If it's a yes, then that's good. Then can you support yourself financially? That's another question. Anything happens to your breadwinner, your husband, your wife, your whatever, are you able to support, your husband, yeah, your mother, your father, are you able to stand on your own through your job, your savings, your investments, or a combination of all of these things? That's another question. If it's a yes, then you're well on your way to being financially independent. And then lastly, but not the least, do you have a basic understanding of financial literacy? Are you financially literate? Do you have some knowledge of how to manage your finances? Do you know, okay, if they say Dangote is doing an IPO today, do you know what that means? Do you know what to do to invest in that IPO today? Those are the questions you want to ask yourself. I'm not talking about, are you able to save money or not? But basically, are you able to make your money work for you? If your answer is yes to the 3rd question, then fantastic, good for you. So I want to, and then this is also going to be, an interactive session. So please, I would like to see some activities in the chat box. Let's talk about these things. So I'm asking you those questions, and let's look at, yes, Deborah-Chi Okole says yes. Oh yes, fantastic. That's what we want to hear. And so, so by the time we go through this presentation, we'll all have something to take from it. And we'll all have something, to take away and work on. And why is it that we're talking about financial independence from women? Why is it important? Number one, you want to empower yourself. You want to raise your confidence. Because, you find out that women are not as confident as men. It's a fact. It is a fact. And that's why we keep talking about gender equality, break the bias. Employers rather hire women and men than men for whatever reason. Why? So, but when you're financially independent, it's important. You're empowered. You have confidence. You're able to stand on your own. That's very important. Okay, and you're able to manage your finances. Then you are able to handle contingencies. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. As the saying says, be prepared for the worst, but hope for the best. Or hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst. Never know anything. Rainy day, COVID, anything can happen. You need to have that small pocket change for you to do whatever you need to do when it happens. And then you're a catalyst for the economy. As women, we are so powerful. It is well known that when women head boards, when women head companies, the companies perform much better than when a man. Apologies to the men on this, on this webinar, but it is a fact. It is a proven fact. And then when women are employed at the level at which men are employed today, IMF says that the economy will grow by 25%, 27%. So you can just think about that. And so even if we're not doing it for ourselves, let's do it for the economy as a whole. And then, of course, have meeting families' aspirations and managing rising cost of living. You also don't want to live in a household where it's only a man that is, the breadwinner. You also want to contribute something. Raise your head high. Be a contributor to the household, to the family. You want to buy something? Yeah, we don't have to go to daddy. Yeah, mommy will do it, and it gives us some level of confidence in the family. And then, we were talking about this. Why is it that we keep talking about, we have issues with financial independence? Why is it that we have, women just don't have enough money for one reason or the other? And I would say the number one reason is a spending habit. we tend to spend frivolously. And I'm talking to myself as well, not only to, the people on the webinar, I'm talking to myself as well. We tend to spend spontaneously. As I was telling, some colleagues the other day, I'm actually talking to Dubai right now. Of course, I've gone to the mall, I've gone to buy stuff. And that is it. It's a women mentality, and some of these things I don't need, but I will not buy it. I went with some friends, I said, oh, let's buy it. I said, no, I don't need it. I'm not going to buy it. It's all about buying what we need, not buying what we want or buying what our friends are buying. So we need to really, really rein in that habit. And then there's a gender big gap. That's another fact. It is well known that women typically make less than 70% average, less than their male counterpart make. Average, probably because we don't know how to negotiate. So when, we're being hired, we don't negotiate as hard as the men do. So we just tend to earn less. And then, at the end of the day, some of us also stay at home, after being married. So when you now look at the general, average, earnings of the women, we're a lot less. We earn a lot less, and we have a lot less financials. And then our investing gaps. Many women really think more about savings. Oh, I talk to my customers and say, oh, I'm doing a job. Or I'm going to take the job in the next. I'm going to be the fourth or fifth person to take the job. And I tell them, a job cannot help you. Because at the end of the day, you're not even adding back, you're actually losing money by that job, by the way, because you're paying the same amount and you're getting exactly what you have paid for at the end of 4, 6, 5 months, So what's the point? We tend to think of savings. We don't think of investing. We need to invest. We need to learn some, go a notch higher than that, saving. Let's be more complicated in our saving, the way we invest, and let's think about it. And then we have career breaks. These are really problems, and these are facts. I'm giving you facts. Career breaks. We find that when women at the beginning of our careers, women and men, we get into this workforce 50%, 50-50. 50% women, 50% men, junior level. And as we're rising, through the ranks, the women are falling off the grid because we're getting married, we're having family responsibilities, and the men are rising even as we are falling off the grid. We're having babies, and the moment we're pregnant, we can't get hired again, or we can't get promoted because we're pregnant. And me, I was pregnant 2 times in a row, 2 years in a row I was pregnant. And so that also, was a disadvantage to me. Meanwhile, my colleagues that we all entered the bank together had actually, progressed on the ladder. And so at the end of the day, by the time you get to executive management, senior management, executive management, this same set of people, you find that the men have risen much higher. So you find 70-30. You now get to board level, you find like maybe 90-10, 90% women, 10%, and not due to any fault of ours. It's just the way things are. And employers today, they tend to punish women for having those children, for looking after their children, and for taking those breaks. It's unfortunate, but it's that is, and then we have the confidence gap. As I said, we're not forceful enough. And when a woman is asking questions, they call her aggressive, and when a man does the same, they call him confident. But we need to just step out of that box. It's a box that, we put ourselves in. We need to step up. Ask for promotions when we know we deserve it. Ask for pay raise when we know we deserve it. And really, you'll be surprised how that you'll get it. It's just that we don't ask for it, so we don't get it. And I would like to see some conversation around what we're talking about. Go to the second slide. It's not moving. Can everybody still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, my slides.
Maybe you may stop sharing, then reshare. That may help.
My goodness. I'm so sorry.
Yes, not a problem. So you may stop sharing and reshare.
Yeah, I can't even find my cursor right now.
All right, hi, ma'am. We just want to be sure if you can hear us, and we understand network issues happens. So just to be sure. All right, we can see that she, apologies for the network hitch. She got out of the call briefly. In the interim, we will continue, and like we already encouraged, please make use of the Q&A session on the website. Please do well to drop some questions you may have, and we are certain that Madam Bola Oduyale will join us right back. That was a network hitch, and we sincerely apologize for that. All right, we'll move right up to our next speaker. And when Madam Bola comes back, she will complete her own session. All right, so I'm going to be introducing the very next speaker, the person of Christiana Okere. Hi, Christiana, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, I can see you're ready for us. So I'll just give a brief introduction of Christiana. So Christiana is the co-founder of MyStarch. MyStarch is a money management platform that is leveraging automation and technology to help Africans save and spend money smarter. She's also the founder of Indigi Foods, a food innovation business that is turning grains into nutrient-dense plant-based foods. Now, permit me if I say myself that Christiana is an all-rounder who's winning both in technology and in agribusiness, and she's definitely one of the right people to tell us about exploring these financial opportunities. She has successfully also executed multiple projects for the USAID in the Northeast and some other UNs. She's a program manager, and she's right here with us. So thank you once more, Christiana, for joining us, and over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, John. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor. I'll share my screen quickly and then we can start. Can you all see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. All right. Let me do this quickly and then start. Okay, so thank you once again. It's an honor, it's a pleasure. Thank you, Conquest, for having all of us here. And hopefully, as we share ideas and as we learn from each other, we're able to propel ourselves, all of us, towards financial growth, right? So thank you. I'm glad we had the poll in the beginning, the poll that showed us who and who are here, so that I would know how to tailor my examples and give relevant examples to all of us. So let's delve right in. Now, the theme for today is exploring financial opportunities, right? But then even before we begin to, explore these opportunities, I believe that it's important that there are two things we need to be able to do first of all, to lay the foundation before we begin to then explore opportunities out there, right? Now, the first thing is recognition. Now, we need to be able to recognize opportunities when we see them, because opportunities can come in different ways. They can come in a way that is not so obvious, not so shiny, like you wouldn't even know an opportunity, right? When you see it, you won't know what it is in the first instance. In fact, most times, opportunities come in the form of problems, or what we call pain points in business, right? Or in the form of impossibility, right? So you won't even know it's an opportunity. So you need to be able to recognize it beneath all that disguise, okay? That's the first thing you need to be able to do, recognition. The second thing is preparation. Now you need to be adequately prepared, be armed, be ready to jump on the opportunity that you are seeing, right? So when you're able to recognize the opportunity and you are prepared to jump on it, then you will soar limitlessly. That's the fact. So let's start with the first one, recognition. How do you recognize a financial opportunity? How do you recognize it when you see it? Now, as I mentioned before, most opportunities come in the form of problems, in the form of pain points. So let's talk about pain points for a minute. And I'll give 3 instances to explain the concept of pain points or problems as opportunities. Now, take for example, Uber. Uber realized a problem in the society. What was the problem? People like you and I, ordinary Nigerians, before Uber, we couldn't move from place to place, comfortably, without much stress or much hassle. If I want to go to a wedding now, I have my makeup on and everything, right? And I have to go and start stopping at a taxi or a bus on the road. Before you know it, sweat has, dripped down my face. I'm looking all shabby already in no time, right? But we have Uber now. You can call the Uber and it comes and picks you up in an AC-filled car. It's very comfortable, no stress, no hassle, right? So Uber saw that problem. So they saw an issue in society, issue of what? Not being able to move comfortably from place to place. And they jumped on the problem. They recognized the problem as an opportunity and they jumped on it. And they're catching out today, right? How many of us know Eden Life? I know if you're a tech bro here or a tech, I know you know Eden Life. Now, I know people whose lives depend on Eden Life, right? So Eden Life saw a problem in society. What was the problem? Many working class people don't have the luxury of time to cook and clean and all that, right? So they saw that problem and they were like, how do we solve this problem? So they jumped on the problem, right? They jumped on it, and now today you don't even have to stress much. You just call them Life, they bring your food, they clean do your laundry, and you're set to go. So they saw a problem in society, but they recognized it as an opportunity and they jumped on it, right? Now, same goes for my company. My company is called My Stash. And at My Stash, the issue or the problem we realized was that young people have issues managing their money, right? I mean, let's be honest here, young people, we know ourselves now. Today, you collect salary, right? By next week, yeah, everything has finished. And you're asking yourself, where did all the money go now? What happened to the money, right? So at My Stash, we saw that problem in society of what not being able to manage your money well amongst young people. So we built My Stash to help young people to save money automatically and somewhat subconsciously every time they spend or every time they earn. So that way, a savings habit is plugged into your lifestyle. You don't have any excuse now. As you are spending, you are saving. As you are earning, you are saving, right? It's plugged into your lifestyle. And of course, you earn interest on your savings at My Stash, right? These are 3 examples of how entrepreneurs solve problems and recognize it as an opportunity to solve that problem and make money from it, right? So it's being able to, first of all, recognize the problem and then look beneath it and, talk out that opportunity and then prepare and jump on it. Now, after you recognize the problem, what's next thing? Next thing is ask yourself, can this opportunity I recognize, can it be commercialized? Can you make some money from it? Will people be willing to pay for that solution you are creating? Because if people are not willing to pay for a solution, then it's not a financial opportunity, right? It's just there. You can't make money from it, right? So you need to give up value and you have to get value back. So you ask yourself, this opportunity, does it add value to people's life to the extent that they're willing to now pay you money for it? If your answer is yes, then you found yourself a financial opportunity. Okay? Now the next thing, after recognizing the opportunity, after you you see the opportunity to recognize it as an opportunity, right? The next thing is to what? Is to be prepared. So now, ask yourself, are you prepared to seize the opportunity? Are you well positioned? Do you have the right skills? Do you have the right knowledge, the right network to what? To explore the opportunity that they are recognized, right? So that's why, it's really important as young people, it's really important that we continue to upskill, continue to expand your mindset, learn new things, expand your knowledge, right? To build networks, take courses, volunteer if you can, do things that will expose you and expand that mindset. So when you see an opportunity, you are prepared to jump on it, right? It's about being intentional, being proactive, right? So young people in the audience, please, okay? It's not too late. Start learning new skills, start expanding your skills, your knowledge, your network. So when opportunities come, you are prepared to jump on them, okay? So that was me laying the foundation, right? Just let's not look the two things we need to be able to do before we can explore opportunity, right? You need to be able to recognize the opportunity, first of all, when you see it, recognize it, and then be prepared to jump on it, okay? Those two steps, two key preamble steps, right? Now, after you have been able to do that, right, let's go ahead and then discuss the opportunities out there to make money, right, to cash out, like you say. So I put them in two buckets. We have the tech opportunities and the non-tech financial opportunities. Let's start with the first bucket, the tech financial opportunities. So there are several out there, and these tech opportunities require that to be skilled in these fields. It can be in design, it can be in programming, it can be in cybersecurity, digital marketing operations, different tech skills. And whatever it is, these are skills that you can start building from now to the next, say, 6 months to a year. And you can begin making money either independently on your own or by working with a company that requires the skills, right? So it's up to you now to know which skill you want to learn. And there are several opportunities out there to learn these skills, especially for women. Women, we have less now because there are several free programs to start grabbing these skills out there. In fact, at my search, we're organizing a similar upskilling program. I'll drop the link in the chat box much later. So we're organizing a program to upskill women because we're in the month of March, and we're all about women empowerment and all that, right? So it's just for women. Men, sorry, don't worry, your own time will come. All men, okay? So at my search, we're organizing a similar upskilling program. We have other organizations like Women Tech Stars, right, who are helping women to upskill. So now it's up to you to know which of these tech skills you want to learn, right? Recognize the opportunity, prepare for it by learning the skills, expanding your knowledge. So that when opportunities come, you can jump on them. When jobs come, you can jump on them, right? When gigs come, you can jump on them, right? So let me ask a quick question just to see how well amped we are for opportunities. How many of us have recognized that the latest hot stuff in tech right now, and possibly the future of tech actually, is NFTs, crypto, blockchain, this Web3 space, right? How many of us have recognized that this is the future of tech? You can raise your hand, or you can say yes in the chat box or something, just so I know who are in tune with the trend, right? How many of us have recognized that this is the future of tech? Let me see. How many of us know that this is the future of tech? Good. I see a few hands. Good. I'm impressed. Good. Now, that's the first step, right? You have recognized the opportunity, right? Recognition. Now, to the more difficult step. Now. How many of us have begun to prepare ourselves, to arm ourselves with the right skills, with the knowledge of these spaces, of NFT, crypto, blockchain? How many of us have begun to prepare ourselves to understand the spaces? You can show your hands, or you can say yes and tap up. Now, my guess is that fewer hands will be up this time. That's my guess. I hope it's not a reality. But that's the thing. You won't be able to explore these opportunities when they come unless you prepare for them, right? By reading about them, learning about them, by asking people who know more, right? So until you're prepared to position yourself, you won't be able to explore the opportunity. Okay? So please and please, young people out there, go out there, try to grab, the top skills right now. Try to just decide on which one you want to focus on and do it well. And before you know it, you start cashing out. Okay? Now we've talked about tech skills that present financial opportunities, right? And let's look at non-tech financial opportunities out there. Okay. Now I'm going to be somewhat biased here because I'm only going to talk about two particular areas. One even more particularly, and that's agribusiness, because I have experience in that space, so I can talk about it with confidence and with a level of authority, right? So now agribusiness is quite broad. It spans from production all the way to processing, right? Now let me explain how you can recognize an opportunity in agribusiness and prepare yourself to then explore the opportunity. Okay. I'll use my own journey as an example. Okay. Now, I run a company called Indie Food, as John mentioned. And at Indie Food, Indie stands for indigenous, by the way. And at Indie Food, what we do is that we process indigenous African grains into nutritious, gluten-free food products. Okay. So how did this come about? How did I come to this opportunity? Now, step one, I recognize a problem. What was the problem? So a customer of mine had a terrible reaction to gluten at some point, right? So we had to change her diet. And at the time, it was quite difficult to find, enjoyable gluten-free food products out there. So that was the problem. But I chose to see it as an opportunity, right? So I began to do what? I began to prepare myself to seize the opportunity, right? That's step two, preparation, right? So I began to research gluten-free foods. I joined food networks, read about nutrition. I began to develop, product recipes, and then I gave people to taste and give me feedback. And before you know it, we had our first product, right? And today we are exploring that opportunity and reaping the rewards. You see? So step one, I recognize the problem. Issue of what? There's no gluten-free, enjoyable gluten-free food out there like that. They're not popular, they're not much, right? And then I prepare myself, I arm myself with the right skills, the right knowledge, the right network to jump on the opportunity. That's how you can explore opportunities in the non-tech field like agribusiness. Okay. Another example of a non-tech opportunity to make money out there is investment, right? I mean, there are several things to invest in. There's stock, there's real estate, there's of course crypto too. But please, if you're not familiar with crypto if you don't know crypto very well, don't go and jump on it, right? Prepare yourself first, read about it, ask people who know more than you, right? So you can tell me what you're getting into before you get into it. Okay? So there's several opportunities out there. And if you're a newbie in the investment space, companies like FundQuest can help you to kickstart your investment journey. Am I right? Right? They can help you kickstart. That's what they're here for. They're all about investment, right? So there are several more opportunities out there to cash out, to make money, right? Several, aside agribusiness, aside investment, several non-tech and tech opportunities out there to make money. So just to recap, before you can begin exploring or enjoying any financial reward opportunity, you need to be able to do two things. First of all, be able to recognize the opportunity. When you see a problem, you dig deep. You question yourself, what's beneath this problem? Why is it happening? What's the problem? How can I, sell value through this problem? How can I create something that people will be willing to pay for from this problem that solves that problem for people, right? That's step one, recognizing the opportunity. Step two, prepare yourself adequately to jump on the opportunity. How do you do that? By expanding your network, expanding your skills. right? When you can do these two things, these two preamble things, then you'll be able to do what you're able to explore the opportunity when it comes to it, okay? And then reap the financial reward of that opportunity. I hope we understand these tricks and we can put them in practice in our own lives and in our endeavors too, okay? So I thank you all for listening. I hope we've learned something today. I hope we would apply what we've learned and begin to reap financial rewards. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christiana Okere. That was a great session. The recognition, preparation, and then explore. And if there's anything I took, it's a financial opportunity is our responsibility. And should I call it an easy way to do this is by recognizing via our pain points. What is this? I'm thinking about it, there are a lot of pain points and issues in this part of the world. So what that also means is that there are a lot of opportunities if we are skilled enough to translate those pains into opportunities, recognize it, prepare and arm ourselves. And truth be told, there are a lot of courses, skill acquisition centers, and help that can be gotten. And most importantly, another opportunity that can be explored is investment. And like the speaker just said, FundQuest Financial Services is heavy on investment, and we pride ourselves on the best investment rates in this part of the world. Thank you so much, Christiana. I look forward to questions concerning this session. Christiana is going to be with us. All speakers are going to be with us till the very end. So please drop your questions and everything. And if you think you enjoyed Christiana's session, to you listen to the rest of the speakers. Madam Bola is back with us. She needed to round up her session, which is actually an interesting session by itself. So we're going to be having Bola back to continue from where she stopped. Well, you can please drop your questions, in the Q&A box, the chat's rolling, and most definitely, it's going to be a great time. By the time Bola rounds up, then the next speaker takes it up from there. So, Madam Bola, welcome back. Apologies for that network hitch. You can kickstart right from where you stopped. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My God, John, that was scary. And apologies to everyone. My screen just froze, so that was very little I could do. So I had to restart. Okay, I think we were done with the obstacles, and I'm just going to quickly round up and talk about how. I think we've done with the why this is happening to women. And so what we want to talk about is how do we want to move ourselves from where we are now to where we want to be? Right now we're really going, look at our graph is going down. Now we want to make sure we have an upward trajectory of the female independent, financial graph. I'm going to just start by, talking about some quotes here. On the left, you can see some quotes I put here. Some people make enough, some don't. It has nothing to do with their paycheck. Absolutely true. Some people can make $1 million, and as far as they're concerned, they don't make enough. While some people are making 100, 200,000 naira, and they're making enough, and they're even saving out of it. So really, it depends on the character, the attitude, the behavior of that person that we're talking about. And then, of course, Warren Buffett, this is a popular saying that he says, don't save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. That should tell you something, because, you want to set goals for yourself. You just don't want to get your pay, just like as Christiana said, some people just get paid, spend, at the end of the month, there's nothing left. In fact, they're owing at the end of the month, by the end of the month, after having, earned that pay. And so what we're trying to work with you here is to change that behavior. You want to have something left, something kept away. It doesn't matter, what you're earning actually is irrelevant. on this, based on what we're talking, it's not about what you're earning, it's about how do you spend what you are earning. That is it. And so you want to begin to set your goals. So I'm talking about the how now, we need to have a paradigm shift. Control your money. You earn this money. For those of us that are earning money, and then for those of us that are not earning, Christiana has talked a bit about, opportunities are available. Many of us just say, oh, we don't have a job. No, there are opportunities out there that we can take advantage of. So, when you get this money, control it. Don't let the money control you. Control that money. And how do you do that? You create a budget for yourself, both savings and spending budget. You know that, look, I earn 100, 200,000 naira, I earn 2 million naira, it doesn't really matter. It's what do you do with that money? Create that budget. Look at your essentials, household essentials. What do I need? What do I want? Look at your needs first and create that budget for those needs. And then make sure that there is at least, there is a rule of thumb. 20% at least of what you earn, you should keep aside every month. Let's take that habit. Have a spending budget, have a savings budget as well. Whatever you earn, keep some away. Have an emergency fund. Look at COVID, for God's sake. Look at how much people suffered, during COVID, just because they did not have any rainy day fund kept aside. It's important. And, and these things are not only for the men to do, it's for us women to do as well. So, the attitude or the idea of keeping, my husband worries, only is the one that worries about the financial issues in the house. No, those days are long gone. We need to begin to change our attitude and, have a paradigm shift, towards our behavior, towards money. And then, when you want to make major purchases, you want to buy a car, or you want to buy something that's expensive, you plan ahead, that in the next 6 months, I want to buy this. So, okay, let me start saving towards that particular, not that because somebody's, I just came into some money today. Okay, that thing I've been wanting to buy, that Lugo Health, 500,000 naira, let me buy it now. No, we need to stop spontaneous spending. It's very important that spontaneous spending, we should rein it in and stop to think, whenever you want to spend that money, do I really need this? Or is it because my friend has it, that's what I wanted? So let's just have that attitude behind our minds. And then a lot of us, I have a client that, she earns like $1 million naira and she wanted some more money. I looked at the account and I'm like, you earn this much. What do you do with this one? And she's still owing. She's owing rent money. She's owing this. She's owing that. Why? Why are you owing this much? So I said, no, we're not going to give her the money because I'm not going to perpetuate this behavior, because I could really not see anything she was doing with what she had already. So that's why, FundQuest doing this is really timely and important because, people and women need to really understand this financial, the attitude to financial, whatever we do with finances, we really have to change it and it has to improve tremendously. And then we need to learn to invest. Christiana has talked a bit about that. And investment is key. It's not about savings. I'm not talking, savings is basic. Everybody saves, or at least those of us that save, we save. But savings will not get you rich. It's investing that money that will get you rich. Investing it that will get you rich, And again, thank you, FundQuest, for doing this because they're there and it's their job. Walk into FundQuest, they will give you all the possibilities that you can do, you can have all the ideas that you can possibly have with, savings and investment, with investment potentials. And, you have different asset classes and it depends on your risk profile, risk appetite. You might not be, may not, want anything too risky. Okay, just put my money in Cadbury or in Unilever. And some, want to go towards the, higher risk, whichever one, but you really need to move away from not saving to saving and then from savings to investment. And then, trying to make sure that I don't, and then again, you look at your long-term goals. I'm looking at this, if you look at this, what's it called? The quote on your left side, Joyce C. She says, I would rather carry around a plastic bag with 5,000 euros inside than carry around a Louis Vuitton, a Gucci, a Prada bag with only 100 euros inside. I think this is very instructive. And it speaks to all of us, including myself. I keep saying, it speaks to all of us. Because a lot of us, we borrow money so that, people can see us. We borrow money to buy a Shebi. We borrow money to buy wig. We borrow money. And if we don't, you take more of the money that you have, you want to do this because somebody else is doing, we need to absolutely change our attitude to that. So it's important that, rather think long-term, think about your retirement, save towards it, invest towards it. You may be single, you may be married, you may be divorced, you may be widowed. How do you want your future to look like today? Let's start doing that. Let's start looking at it. You have children, and it's a fact that men, women outlive men. We outlive men. It's a fact. So, which means when that man goes, what is life going to be like for you? So we need to begin to think about that. Do I know what he does? Do I have access to the bank accounts? Do I, how do we make money in the household? How much are we spending? What are we going to do? Please, it's important that we think about that. And then we need to make a financial plan. Have conversations, intelligent conversations with your spouses about it. By the time we start having those conversations, we will know that this is a serious matter. And then we have children. What do we want to do with our children? Which schools do we want them to go to? Let's begin to start planning today. Not because, because kids, we don't have any government institution anymore. So, well, we have, but, nobody wants to send their kids there. You want to go to private institution, you want to send your kids abroad. Can you afford it? If you know you don't afford it, you can't afford it, then start planning today. Start planning today. My son is 17. I started saving $200 a month for him since when he was 10 days old. 10 days old. I kid you not. And why? Because I knew that, in 18 years, this is what we're going to do. And it's because the country I was living at that time actively encouraged us to do that, because they will give you some counterpart funding if you did that. And then, over the years, I have been doing that, and they've been adding money to it. So you can imagine how much it will be when he turns 18. I don't have to worry about, his education, going to whichever university he wants to. So let's just, I'm just giving, different ideas as to how we want to, plan and work on our lives. And then, financial literacy, because many of us women, again, we tend to say our husbands, our brothers, or my dad, he's the one that worries about this, not me. I don't want to, but that's not the case, and it's not right for us to do that. So how do you really move yourself from being financially illiterate to being financially literate? It's very important. Number one, earn a living. And when you earn, you understand what you're earning. You understand your income. And because it's when you understand your income, you'll be able to know what to spend for. And for those of us that are homemakers, I understand that, that because being a homemaker, it's only in Nigeria that we look at them as housewives. Abroad, it is a job. Being a homemaker is a job. You're making the home while the husband is out there working. And, so which means, but out there, outside of Nigeria, when anything happens, you are entitled to half of his income and half of whatever he has amassed. But that's not the case where we come from in Nigeria. So, so we have different cultural differences and cultural peculiarities. So that's why it's important that if the woman is empowered financially. And many of us women, we stay in these marriages because we have nowhere to go. We're not empowered. If I leave this marriage today, what will happen to me? Meanwhile, we're desperately unhappy, we're being abused, but we cannot leave because we have no financial independence. So it's important that we earn, we make a living, and even from those monies that you get, even if it's that you get home, whatever it is, what do they call it, monthly stipend for the home, keep some aside for the home. Don't spend it all. Create a budget. And then save, because you have a financial goal now, you know what you want to invest upon, and then you save towards it. You talk to the experts. If you don't know, go to FundQuest. FundQuest, please, at the end of this presentation, give them all your contacts. Go to FundQuest. They're very available, and they're one of the strongest in the market. And they'll be able to help you to train you on these things. And then, people borrow. Borrowing is good, but excessive borrowing is very bad. You don't borrow for consumer goods. You borrow for, mortgages. Nobody will tell you not to borrow for mortgages. Everybody borrows for mortgages. you want a car loan, but that car has to be what you can afford to pay at the end of the, and that car has to be useful to use because you need it, not because you want it, So, people borrow all these L credits, M credits, all these loan apps that take, 30%, 40%, a month from you. It's dangerous, and it's not good for your family. It's not good for your peace of mind. I mean, I started CreditWise actually because of this, because I realized that women and men are like, they're just being, there's been taken advantage of in the markets. And so what we do is, we actually curate this, different kinds of products to match the needs of the customers. And we not only give these customers the money, we follow them up, provide financial literacy. Many customers, they have their businesses, they're mixing their personal money with their business money. No, that's not the right thing to do. Create a separate account for your business, separate from your personal accounts. It's very important. And it's because people are not financially literate. They don't have accountants. You don't know how much you're making. Because you're having cash flow, it doesn't mean you're making profit, by the way, because at the end of the day, you're probably spending your capital. So it's important that you really learn not only to do that business properly, but, not only to do that business, but to also do the business the way it should be done. So that, look, at the end of the day, the business can be sustainable. Sustainability is key because, when you start a new business, 50% of those businesses fail within 1 year. And it's mostly because of lack of control. You're not budgeting, you're not looking at the finances priority. Just feel because I'm selling, then I'm making money. No, that's not the case. And then you need to protect yourself and your finances. You prevent yourself from fraud, buy insurance, insure your home, insure your business, insure your life, make sure your husband is insured so anything happens to you and your family is safe and secured. And I'm not being morbid there, it's just a fact of life. And then, financial literacy. Again, I'm looking at financial literacy, understanding the basic, you need to understand the basic principles of financial planning. It's important. Basic principles. You don't have to know D plus divide the X, no. But understand the different asset classes. Understand that. Understand your risk profile. Do I want to invest in crypto? No. If you don't have that risk appetite for crypto. It may be lucrative, but if you don't have the risk appetite, you don't want to do that. It was $60,000 the other day. It's $30,000 today. It'll be $40,000 tomorrow. I don't think I just don't have the appetite for that kind of risk. So I don't go there. But other people, they love it and they do it. But we need to have that understanding and be literate enough to make that decision ourselves. And then, in the home, as I said, contribute intelligently, to the home, to the financial decisions of the home. Know exactly where the documents. I've seen it happen so many times. COVID gave me a clear picture of what's happening in many homes. Husbands pass away, wives have no idea what is happening, had no idea how the kids are going to school, had no idea where the documents were. I'm not kidding you, it happens. And it's, you just don't know. And so let's prepare ourselves. Let's stand tall beside our husbands and be the right partner that God has chosen us to be in those unions that we are. So, and then have access to your family savings and investments, just have joint, even if it's not joint accounts, make sure you have access to those accounts. It's important. And have your own account, have your own money, have your own savings, and then encourage insurance. Life insurance is very important. My house is insured, my job is insured, the laptop I'm using now is insured, I have universal, and it's important, not because I love insurance companies. I don't even know much about it, but I just know that they pay when anything happens eventually. And you be keen to it because we just never know how these things are going to work. So I'm seeing some questions on the screen. My question is, how should men be involved? What role do they have to play in this? Thank you, Kelly. I think men, obviously, because at first, if you're a woman that never was really interested in the money or what is going on, then you have to really, and as your husband is seeing that mindset, there's a different mindset. Oh yeah, my wife really is asking questions and she wants to know. Of course, he'll be encouraged, but he needs to know that you're asking for the right reasons. You want, because some people will say, okay, you want me to die tomorrow? Or okay, you want to take all my money? No. It's, so the husbands also need to understand that you are doing this for the right reasons, for the future, so that at the end of the day, you and the children, and even him, you're all well protected all round, because we don't always need to live for today. We have to really live for tomorrow, because we are having children, and those children, we have to secure their future. How can someone save with a minimum wage in Nigeria? That's a good question. How can someone save with minimum wage in Nigeria? Well, as I said, that first code that I wrote, some people have enough, some people don't have enough, but it has nothing to do with their paycheck. It has to do with their lifestyle and their behavior. If you're earning minimum wage, then your lifestyle has to be below that minimum wage. It's as simple as ABC. It has to be below, because and then you have to now begin to improve yourself. You need to improve yourself. You need to go and learn. You need to look at opportunities out there to improve yourself and give yourself that advantage, so you can move up on the ladder. And then to round up a presentation, a man is not a financial plan. A man is not a financial plan. There's so many of us that, yeah. So now there's another poll that has come up now. Building a career. What is the best way women can make money in these times? You can only choose one. You want to build your career, you want to work from home, being an entrepreneur, or marrying a rich man. So let's have that poll. And then, I just, I'll welcome any questions at the end of the session. Are we done with the poll?
Just 1 more minute for the poll.
Okay.
Thank you. So please, let's all participate. In about 30 seconds, the poll will be down. It's an anonymous poll, so feel free to answer your.
You can choose marrying a rich man. Me, if I had the choice of me, I'll choose my. Okay, so somebody is asking a question. Please expand more on this investment aspect. Like, where can we invite in? What can we and like amounts? Okay, so in terms of investment aspect, some people think until they have ₦1 million, that's when they can invest. No, that's not true. You can invest from as little as 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira. You can invest. You can do investments. You can buy stocks as low as 3,000, as low as 10,000. You just have to start from scratch. MTN, in my office, when MTN issue starts, when they did the MTN issue about, I think, was it 2 months ago or 3 months ago, I gave okay, I was talking and I didn't realize I was muted. Okay, so no, investments, you can do investment with any amount, mutual funds. Oh yeah, somebody's just, yeah, see, people, I love this. John, see, nice, building a career, 33%, working from home, 10%, being an entrepreneur. And by the way, don't think, some of us think that being an entrepreneur means a holiday. Is not. Yeah, you work harder than even building a career, because then it's yours and you have to work hard at it. It takes a lot of time, it takes up a lot of energy. And I love this person that is looking to marry a rich man, by the way. And then, building a career, working from home. Yeah, we can be a working parent at home. So that works. And, COVID has afforded us that opportunity now. There are many of us in Nigeria now that are working for companies in America and the UK, that's COVID for you. You know, it's a complete shift from the regular physical gathering that we used to have before. So working from home is absolutely doable these days than before, when, you know, people go, I mean, people, in the past 2 months, 2-3 days, 3 weeks of no NEPA or whatever, you know, I've told my staff, just work from home. Unfortunately, even at home, we don't have light. So it's not a win-win situation at all. But
yes,
what it is.
So we can see the results.
Yes,
very
results.
funny, and just want to say, well, thank you for voting and being a part of the poll, as Madam Bola also just rounds up and has rounded up, and just want to say thank you for that insightful session. And if there's anything that we and you have learned, is that yes, marrying rich man, it's not really, like the last slide here, man is not a financial plan. So we all must, like Madam Bola rightly said, entrepreneurship and all, working from home, building a career is key. So Madam Bola, please, you will help us stay right on board, while we continue, because there are a lot of Q&As coming in, and we're going to take the Q&As after the entire presentation of every speaker, so that we can maximize time. So Madam Bola, thank you once again. Questions will keep coming in, we are sure, and we encourage you to ask those questions, and all our speakers will be able to address them accordingly. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you
for being here. We truly appreciate you. I'm sure we all love that presentation. Please, in the comment section, do well to say thank you to Mrs. Bola Oduyale for such a beautiful presentation. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. We are going to speak with the last speaker, and this is one session that you do not want to miss. I'm going to be introducing the person of Mrs. Oreoluwa Somolu-Lesi. She is a STEM and gender specialist with over 19 years professional experience, and she has encouraged and empowered over 35,000 women and girls across Nigeria to pursue their goals and to use technology confidently to increase their economic power. Someone who has empowered over 35,000 women is one person you should and you want to listen to. She is a Vital Voices lead, and she has showcased in the media, including BBC, Time Magazines, Ebony Life, etc. We want to welcome specially Mrs. Oreoluwa Somolu-Lesi. Thank you so much for being with us today, and you are our last speaker for today. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Joan. Thank you, my fellow speakers. So I'm last, but not the least. So I'm really happy to be here. It's an honor to be among such esteemed speakers. And I have to say, I really enjoyed both your presentations, and I was taking notes. I was taking notes. Okay, so I'm looking for my slides. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I'm going to be pulling together, I think basically everything that we have heard today, talking about financial opportunities for women, and I'm going to be laying it along the journey of a woman's life. So my presentation is entitled Financial Opportunities for Women at Any Age. Joan just read my bio, so I don't really need to go into this. I founded a nonprofit called the Women's Technology Empowerment Center in 2008, 14 years ago. I'm also a co-runner, co-manager, co-founder of a bookshop, Patapa Books in Surulere. My whole family loves to read. And I also host a podcast as well, something I started during the pandemic. I think the pandemic brought out so many gifts in all of us, things that we never realized we could do. I love to read, and pre-COVID, I love to travel. I think COVID has made it a bit more challenging, but a lot of the restrictions are off now. In my work in WTech, that's the Women's Technology Empowerment Center, we're working to grow the next generation of female technology creators, entrepreneurs, and leaders. So I'm working with girls and women of, many ages. In terms of our older women, we work with, well, I shouldn't say older women, from 18 and above, so I should just say women. We're helping them to understand how to use technology for their careers, and also to encourage young women to consider and go into technology careers. So I work with women, and I think I have learned a few things in terms of how we are, what our lives are like, also being a woman myself, and understanding that there are ebbs and flows and there are seasons of a woman's life. I have a poll. I think my poll should come up now. Can I have my poll? Aha, great. So at what age should women start practicing good financial habits? And you can only pick one answer. So let me know what you think. Should it be when they're a teenager, when we're in our 20s, when we start working, when we get our first job, when we're in our 30s, well, I should say late 20s to 30s, when we start to have children and other dependents, or as we approach retirements? Okay.
Okay, we have 20 seconds more for the poll. Please do well to participate, an anonymous poll, and 10 seconds to go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you very much for participating.
All right. Okay, so you see 92% of our respondents said as a teenager or as a student. Very good. 8% said when we start working, and nobody said when we have dependents and as we approach retirement. And it's very true. It's important to start practicing good financial habits as early as possible, Okay. Now, I'm sure we all know this quote, even if you're not a Christian. This is a quote you would have heard many times. To everything, there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. It means that there's a time for everything. And we have the time when we're planting, and we have the time when we're reaping. We have the time when we have young children. We have the time when we have an empty nest. We have the time when we are free of responsibilities, and the time when we're kind of looking after everyone. And I think this is particularly noticeable in a woman's life, more so I think than men, because of our cultural dynamics here and the things which are expected of us. So you could say there's a spring, summer, autumn, and winter to women's lives. These stats, I won't spend so much time on them because I think my previous panelists have highlighted a lot of these facts. In 2020, women earned just 84% of what men earned. In the same year, we see that the wage gap was smaller for workers aged 25 to 34. So the summary of that is women earn less than men, we still do, but the gap is less for younger workers, possibly because they are more informed, they are encouraged to be bold and ask for those promotions and higher salaries. In general, women still feel less confident about their finances compared to men and are more likely to live paycheck to paycheck. As Madam Bola had said in her presentation, it's not about how much you earn, it's really about a mindset and having that mindset that you want to be financially stable. Women live an average of 6 to 8 years longer than men. So if your financial plan is a man and the man is no longer around, we need to think about that. So I'm going to look at a woman's life, from the major, I would say, key age groups, and talk about the things that really we should think about doing I don't know if we have any teenagers on this presentation. I assume from the first poll, I think most of us are working. We are of working age. So I would assume that's between 20, at least, let's say 25 years upwards, right? But some of us may have teenagers, or at least we have children. And it's never too early to start thinking about how you want them to have a good understanding of the value of money. So for your teenagers or children, I would say it's important that they understand the value of money. I have, my children are really young, still toddlers practically, and they want what they want, and they want everything. I mean, I dare not take them to any shop because they'll be like, Mommy, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. And they don't really understand that, money is a limited resource, and you have so much of it at a particular time, even if you can get more. And so to them, the world is theirs for the taking, which is a lovely, I think, mindset to have. But when it comes, to purchasing things, they don't understand that. So it's good to start having those discussions with them. When you go out, maybe to a shop, okay, let them know this is how much this costs. And then it's important that they should start to earn their own money, whether that's by doing odd jobs in the house, or they have a weekend job. It could be at an uncle, auntie's house, or maybe if you have a family business, they start to do something there. Maybe they're sweeping, or they're lifting things, arranging something, and you give them some money. Or during the holidays, the money may not be much, but what it will do is that it will show them that, oh, I worked for this number of hours or this number of days, and this is the money that I got. And I mean, it will shock you that when you are with them, they can ask you for endless amounts of money. But when they know that they are spending out of their own money, they will be so judicious with that money. They will think, no, it took me 3 weeks to earn this money. I cannot spend it anyhow. Let me see how I'm going to prioritize it. And that starts their mindset shift. Young entrepreneur, a lot of us had skills, now and even as a child. But at least when I was growing up, the thinking was, face your books. You're a student, face your books. This is the time to study, graduate to your first class. Then you can do all the things that you want to do. But I mean, now we know that you can do multiple things. You can be in school, you can actually start a business, which by the time you graduate is making millions of naira. And then you can now grow, that business into something bigger. So I think that, if your children have skills, it's also important to sit with them, discuss with them, and see how maybe they could do more with that. Instead of baking cakes and just giving it out to their friends and family and uncles and aunties, they can start to charge them something, even if it's not small. That there's a sense of empowerment they'll get when they're making money. And then when they do make money, please don't spend all the money on sweets or toys or the latest video games. Start to put that money aside and save that money. Now, we know that saving is not going to make you rich, but it's a good financial discipline to have. And you save, and then you save to invest. So they are maybe putting their money into a bank account that, has been opened for them. And then, they start to learn how to invest, that money. So it's important to have discussions with them so that they can understand why you spend the way you do. Now, as they move into university, they have a bit more freedom, a bit more independence. When I went to school in university in England, and then banks would swamp the university that first week, that was called Freshers Week, offering credit cards to students who are just, out of home for the first time. And they would tell them, oh, you can afford, the latest clothes, CDs, because we listened to CDs back then, video games. But what they didn't emphasize was that this money had to be paid back. So to a lot of my friends, I knew they saw those cards as free money, but it's not free money. Nothing is free, and they will have to pay it. So what happened to some of them, unfortunately, is they kept accumulating debt. And then one day, the debt collectors came, and it's a bad stain on your record. You don't want to start your life that way. Here, credit cards are not so common, and I think they're only offered to high net worth individuals anyway. But still, it's very important that young people understand, even if they can go into a store and get something on credit, that they should not. They should plan to live within the pocket money or the money that they have. When you're in university, it's a time to have fun, to party, but party in moderation. Have fun, yes, it's important to have fun, but don't spend all your money going out. When I was in university, we used to go to clubs. We would queue for hours to get into the club. You will still pay to get into the club. You pay for the drinks or whatever you are going to eat then. You'd pay for the taxi that would take you there, the taxi that will take you back home. I mean, all in all, one event, could cost you so much money. So we need to be careful about that. Side hustle, if they started a business, as a teenager, then it's important to continue. We work with a lot of university students, and we're always showing them how technology can help them take what they consider to be either a side hustle or a skill or a hobby and turn it into something a lot more. With social media, you can reach out to new customers, you can showcase your skills, your products, you can get new clients. There are also lots of freelance websites, out there that are available. And so those are some of the ways that technology can actually help you in terms of earning more. Working and volunteering. Volunteering won't bring you money, but at least it will start to help you build the work experience that will be invaluable when you are actually looking for a job. And there are quite a few platforms. I mentioned some there. Opportunities for Africans, Opportunity Desk, idealist.org are very good platforms to help young people find fellowships, paying and non-paying, and opportunities that can give them invaluable work experience. Now, so we move on to our early 20s when we start to work, we get our first job. The important thing to do is to make sure that you start to pay back any student loans that you may have gotten. This is particularly, I think, common, abroad. Maybe you study in the US and you get a loan to help you pay for your tuition, you have to start to pay it back. If here you had maybe uncles and aunties don't really demand that you pay, the money back, but it's still good that, if you have taken out any loans, that you start to make a plan to pay it back. When you start working, your company, if it's a structured and organized company, should have a pension scheme. I believe that they're mandated by law, once you're above a certain number of employees to have a pension scheme. I know a lot of people, when we started this in my organization, they said, so how is this going to work? Of course, there's a portion that, is deducted from the employee's salary, and then there's a portion that the employer will pay. Because there was a portion deducted from the staff salary, a lot of them didn't want to do it, but we had to let them understand that you are saving for the future. The money that you don't invest in your pension, you're going to spend it anyway. And the worst part is you won't even remember how you spent it. So it's better to invest it into your future, money that you can use when you are older. Contribute as much as you can. When I started working, I was living in the US at the time, and my employer could match whatever I was contributing. So if I was paying, let's say $500 into my pension, they would match it, up to a certain point. So it's almost like money doubling. We always say that, beware of all these 419 schemes that, that offer things like that. But it really was money doubling, because whatever I was putting in, they were matching. And I'm so glad that I did it, because now I look at my statements and I see, wow, the money back then has really, really grown. And that's money that, I can use, when I get to my retirement age. No matter how much you are earning, start to put something aside. I think I saw a comment about saving if you are earning 30,000 or less. There's always something that you can put aside, and it's always down to a financial discipline. If you are earning very little, the first step is to try and see how you can earn more. But then as you do that, if it's like 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira, just put it aside. Make sure that you have your rainy day fund or your emergency fund in case you lose your job and you find that you don't have any money coming in. You have that rainy day fund is separate from your regular savings, that way that you're saving for your future. It's important to do that. Draw up a budget. So let's say you are earning 50,000 naira a month. Decide, like, how am I going to, this amount will go into my savings, let's say 20% of that. This amount is what I'm going to be using for transport. This amount is what I'm going to be using for food. Then you have your, your enjoyment money, because in life, we have to enjoy and try and stick within that budget. We know life, especially life here in Nigeria. Things happen. You just wake up one morning and something has happened that you did not expect and that requires money. So that's why the rainy day fund is very important. And start investing. You can do it for as little as 50,000 naira. I'm sure FundQuest is going to speak about that afterwards. So, but there are ways to do that. And I said there's an app for that because there are always apps for all these things. I use, one of these apps, for savings, but you have to do your due diligence. You have to read up about, whatever service that you want to do. Very, very important. And when you're working, learn to negotiate so that you can increase the salary you are getting. By the time you get married, if you decide that you want to get married, you now have additional things to think about, because when you are married, you are coming together with some other person, so you become one. Their financial history, their financial baggage becomes your financial baggage as well. So it's important to ask the right questions and really plan your future together. Like, what is it that you're expecting from each other? Are you expecting that we're going to have individual accounts or we're going to have joint accounts? Personally, I think it's good to have the two. You have to make sure that you are in agreement on your family financial goals. Are we going to rent a house? Are we going to buy a house? Or will we rent for a while, then buy later, or build? Do we want our children to go to public schools or private schools? So this may mean that you have regular family meetings. Maybe once a month, you sit down, you bring your bank statements, your financial, okay, this was our budget for this month. This is how well we did. This is something we are saving for our investments. This is how we did. It's very important to do that. As your family starts to grow, if you decide that you want to have children, there are now other considerations. And for women, this is a time that, can be quite challenging because, your attention is divided, you have less time. You may decide to stop working because you just can't manage, looking after, children and also working as well, because some jobs can be very, very demanding. So make sure that you research maternity leave options in your company, or if you are looking to move companies in a potential company, what is it that they're offering? Know what it is that you'd like to do. Would you like to take off 6 months? Would you like maybe a year off work, then go back to work? Would you like the option of being able to work from home? Now, COVID has actually accelerated all that. Think about insurance as well: life insurance, health insurance, education insurance. Then plan your estate. Making a will is just a small part of estate planning, but it's a very important part. And particularly when you have children, I think anyone who is working, who has assets, should have a will. Even if you don't have children, you may have people who you want to leave things to, or maybe a charity, an organization, a church, a mosque. Sit down and think about, list out your assets and how you want them to be allocated if you are no longer around. And of course, if you have young children, you also need to think about, if the unspeakable happens, that me and my partner are not here, who would look after my children? So also look at the next of kin information that you have with your insurance, your pension schemes, because a lot of times when we start working, we are usually unmarried, we have no children. So our next of kin could be our parents, it could be our siblings. But of course, by the time you get married, you may forget to go back and update that information. And so if anything happens, the money will go to a sibling, a parent. If your family is tight and they know, how you would have loved your money to be allocated, you are blessed. But some people don't have it so lucky, and that's how the money that should go to your next of kin, your children, will go elsewhere. Leverage technology as well. I don't know how many of us have children here. How many of us are mothers here? Maybe you can just indicate. And just thinking about how it's affected me. I know for me, when I had my first child, my expectation was like, because I'm a very organized person, I just thought, okay, I will give birth to this baby. By next week, I'm back to my work. I'm doing this, that, here I have a trip. I had conferences lined up. I did not realize what a toll having a child would take on me. And you have a baby. A baby is depending on you for everything. I couldn't just get up and go. I was nursing my baby. I'd have to sit in one spot for hours, which I'm not used to because I'm a kind of on the go person. It was a really tough time for me. And I would say also, mentally and emotionally as well. It was really quite tough. So technology can also help you to be connected with other young mothers, other people who are in the same position as you. Yeah, that was important. And those mothering years, you are really balancing. You are balancing a lot, or you're trying to balance. I would say that there's no true harmony, but you're just trying, okay, work, okay, home, okay, children. And it's like you are just juggling plates or juggling balls, just pray not to drop any of them. So it's important to decide, okay, what's important for me and which ones can I afford to drop? A lot of women go into entrepreneurship at this point in time because they feel it will give them more flexibility and more time, for themselves. I've been an entrepreneur for 14 years now, and I can tell you that it doesn't give you more time. If anything, it gives you less time because your business becomes your newest baby, and you don't want your baby to fail. You want your baby to succeed. So you put a lot into it. But again, you can use technology as well. I already mentioned social media. Instagram, Facebook are fantastic platforms for marketing yourself, for showcasing your products or your services. If you have a service to offer, there are freelance websites, there's Fiverr, there's Upwork, there's so many. You can have your own personal website as well. Productivity apps are very good in terms of helping you make the most of your time, decide what tasks you're going to do. In terms of making sure that you are up with, I think the latest in financial literacy, there are online courses you can do, there are webinars, workshops you can do, there are podcasts that you can listen to, there are online groups. So even if you find that you are no longer in paid employment, you can still stay up to date with the latest trends in your industry. You can be working, you can be offering services, you can be freelancing, you can be consulting using technology. This is another time to make sure that you have an eye on your estate plan or your retirement as well, because you don't want to approach retirement and basically you have not paid the attention that you should. As you go through your mothering years and you start to approach retirement, hopefully you would have been doing all the right things. You would have been staying up to date with what's going on in your industry, or you would have been, maybe if you're an entrepreneur, you'd have been growing your business. You'd have been using technology in smart ways to help you make the most of your time, really grow your business. You'd have been investing. You can use technology to save, to invest. So by the time you are getting to 60, 70, I mean, you can afford to retire if you want to. These days, most people don't retire, they don't stop working. Lots of people keep working until, the good Lord calls them. You want to be in a position where you are working because you enjoy what you are doing. You love what you are doing and it's giving you a sense of purpose. You don't want to be working at 60, 70 because you badly need the money. At this time, you can still continue to grow your income. And indeed you should, because inflation is crazy, especially in Nigeria. The money that you thought you had the value has been eroded because inflation keeps growing. So you want to make sure that you are growing your income, especially with passive income. All the years of professional experience that you have developed, you can channel that into designing online courses and into books as well. Writing books, these can give you money, and online courses. You do the work once to develop the course, it's online and it can be earning you money on an ongoing basis. So I want to end with this quote. Money is only a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but it will not replace you as the driver. That means that money is a resource that helps you to do things, to achieve things, to help other people, but you need to be in control of it. Money cannot be in control of you. You need to be in control of it and decide how you're going to earn it, how you're going to save it, how you're going to invest it and grow it, and how you're going to use it, the kind of impacts that you're going to make with it. Thank you so much for listening. It's been such a pleasure to share with you, and I look forward to all the questions and contributions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I believe we've learned enough from that. Money is a tool. And quickly, there are some Q&As. Just before we answer that, we just want to talk about something that we all have learned from the session today. And that is the need for investment. It is well known that savings is only the basics. Now, investment is what gets you rich. That was what the second speaker, or Madam Bola mentioned. Aside setting goals, what can you do to get rich? Savings will not get you rich. This is investing that will. So, and it's a culture that must be built. Like we know, these are 5 reasons why every woman should invest with FundQuest. So, like we said, the first reason is get up to 15% return on investment. I think one of the speakers mentioned it, that the best savings can do for you is to get you maybe 2%, 1%. But we know that that's not even done, because by the time you save, or you save with a bank, by the time you collect their SMS charge, hidden charges, ATM maintenance money, you can't do all of that. The best investment option you can get out there, maximum 4-5%. But at FundQuest, we can get up to 15% return on investment. Another thing is easy, where once you invest and you told them that you are doing a tenure of 6 months or 3 months, come rain, come shine, come emergency, they will tell you that except that 6 months is met, you don't have access to your funds. But at FundQuest, that doesn't happen. We understand that life happens, emergencies can happen. So in the quest of investing with us, you also have easy accessibility to funds. Another thing you can do, you should know, is that same day transaction. So what that means is that when you invest with us, in the due course of it, or when you are putting that I need my investment back, same day your transaction is processed back to you. We also have a personalized customer service. Now, most of the time, most investment apps out there, they're only an app. You can't reach them, you can't see someone, you don't even have a relationship manager. All you just have is an app that you put money in, and God forbid that app disappears from the Google Play Store. The money is gone. But at FundQuest, we don't only have a physical office, we also have relationship managers assigned to each of the person that invests with us. And lastly, we also give free financial advisory service. Free financial advisory service. So we can meet with you and you tell us, oh, this is the amount I want. This is the amount I have. What do you think? I need this money back in so time. And we will advise you, okay, this is what you will do. Put it here, do this. We will help you invest in this and that. So if there's anything talking about exploring financial opportunities, you should know that investing gets you rich, not savings. And you are right on spot, because at FundQuest Financial Services, part of the service which we offer is investment. So please, we have dropped our contact details on the chat at the moment. So call that number, send a mail to that email, please. And immediately, if you can see the hands, please. If you can see the phone number and the email address. Thank you. So send an email, and we are even particularly going to attend specially to attendees from this webinar. So the subject of your email should be that you attended the webinar, and immediately we'll call you and help you become more financially responsible and explore better financial opportunities. We just thought to mention that, clarify on some of the Q&As at this junction, then we'll call this a day. All right. In addition to a point that was made, I think I just want to give an opinion on a question that says, okay, we can see, we are trying to read some of the question and answers. What safe investment options do you recommend? Yes, please. We just dropped our email and phone number. Reach out to our investment experts and we'll get in touch with you. That's for Olufunsho. What's the minimum amount to invest? For FundQuest, our minimum amount for. Why? Because our returns are very high. So you can be rest assured that when you invest 50,000, our team will advise you on the returns you get on that. That's the minimum amount we invest at FundQuest. Another question is, what can someone do when they earn minimum age. I think that particular question, like all our attendees have said, the truth is that we must expand our inflow of cash. We must learn to upskill and offer, you know, an amount. Someone said, okay, minimum amount is lost. Minimum amount is 50,000 naira. Victoria MF4. I just answered your question. The minimum amount that we invest at FundQuest is 50,000 naira, especially because our returns are very high. It's what we invest. Please, the contact and the email that was shared, do well to get in touch with them, and we will respond to you. So for the Q&As, those are some of the answers that we've been able to give. Someone wrote here, women need to begin to take mentoring very seriously over us. The more successful women should consider making themselves available and accessible to mentor. On the other side, women shouldn't be afraid to ask for help. Very much so. We agree with you, Rich. Thank you for that. And feel free to also follow us on social media. We also give financial advisory and financial literacy tips. If you're not following FundQuest, please do so. Our social media handles are FundQuest NGR. And you can do us a DM if you want access to any of our speakers, or if you want to speak with a financial advisor, please reach out to us. Just at the point of us calling it a day, we are going to say a thank you to all our attendees, and the person of our managing director is actually here. Our managing director is here, and he will just give the vote of thanks. And any other question, please send it as a mail. Any other request that has to do with investment, please send it as a mail and call that number. Mr. Abiodun Akinjayeju, over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
I hope everybody can hear me.
I can hear you very well, sir.
All right, thank you. Let me use this opportunity to thank our guest speakers for wonderful presentation they have made. And I believe we all have had one or two things to gain from those various tips that they have given to us. I just want to say first and foremost that the women are taking over, for the simple reason that if you look back in the financial services space, particularly in Nigeria, up until about 4 years ago, we didn't have any bank MDs in Nigeria who are women. But today, I think, as the last count, I think there are about 5 women who are bank MDs in Nigeria. And when that raging storm takes over like that, it is never stopped. So I won't be surprised in the next 3 years when we have women taking charge of the commanding heights of the banking industry in Nigeria. So I say kudos to all the women. Exploring financial opportunities for women, financial inclusion is particularly helpful to the women folk. I will give a personal perspective. I mean, I had some years back, I used to have an uncle in the village who is younger to my mom. I would say, I mean, it's a man around town who never take care of the family. The family is always going hungry. So today you give him money, he blows it off in another 1 week. You give him another one, he blows it off. So at some point, I asked my mom, what is the wife doing? She says she's trading, but the trading is not being well organized. So I said, let them call the woman for me. I called the woman, gave her some money. How much do you need to upscale your business? She said, so I gave this money to her. Trust me, in the first 6 months, that man never come to me for money. Apparently, the woman was able to feed that family and feed them very well. So women are really multipliers. And for any particular economy that the women take commanding heights, that economy is expected to blossom and grow. So I would say kudos to the women as well. Women are really multipliers. I think it was Ms. Oduyale, if I'm correct, that said that the women are not being well remunerated. I think the average is about 70% compared to the men folks. I would say yes or no. Yes, in the sense that it may seem so, because when you start a career and you continue to grow, appraisals are done either by the responsible officers, and maybe one went on maternity leave, so it wasn't there at the time the appraisal was being done. So nature takes some of these things to mean that the women are being relegated. I would say no. It's just a way of nature taking charge of the humanity. Let me put it that way, because without the women, we cannot multiply. And in the process of multiplication, it will seem that the women are bearing the cost of that multiplication, but no, because nature too will also balance it up at the end of the day. Let us look at ourselves in our individual space. Women may seem to have earned less, but when they grow up into the adulthood, and we now have to take care of them in their old age, trust me, the women earn more than the men, and that's the truth. All of us, when we give 5,000 to our father, we give 50,000 to our mothers, and that's the truth. So this is a way of nature balancing things up. That's on the comical side. But let me thank everybody for this for participating in this webinar of FundQuest, and I'm sure we have had one or two things to take away. And we at FundQuest, we are there to give you the tips and financial advice that you may need to succeed in your financial endeavors. One of our speakers was very succinct in the presentation to say that we must be able to distinguish between want and need. Women are known to be compulsive buyers, and I'm sure that the admonition from one of the speakers would have reined in some of this into our individual psyche and ensure that we are a bit circumspect when we do the buying and buying and buying. It's better to really invest than to save. So we also have to be able to note that and ensure that we do more investment than savings. And then we at FundQuest, we will be there to also support that your investment needs as may be required. So let me thank Joan for putting this together and your team.
Thank you, sir.
It's been an exciting time for all of us at this webinar. And I would just say, let's keep it up.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. So we call it a day right now. Thank you for joining us. Yes, the recordings will be sent to every one of us. I just want to say thank you to our speakers. Thank you to every attendee. Thank you to the management and board of FundQuest. Thank you to my colleagues, and God bless you all. Goodbye. Bye.